Hello, I'm Robin Davis,
And I'm Naz Islam,
and this is the Friday Fixture.
your weekly
Uh,
roundup. Oh, am I doing the
Sorry,
thing?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Should I
yeah.
do the thing?
Yeah, do the thing.
I actually
Sorry.
don't. At this point, I'm not even sure. Like I remember it. Okay, your
Let's
weekly
keep this in.
roundup.
Let's keep this in.
Yeah, of course, your weekly roundup of the football fixtures, getting you ready for the weekend or something like that. It's something like that, isn't it?
Maybe we'll cut that bit out.
No, it's quite funny, honestly.
Yeah. Sorry, Naz. We're doing a slightly different version of the pod today. We are recording remotely. It's like during lockdown, isn't it, Naz? So it feels a bit different. I think I prefer in person, but let's see how we do. But yeah, we've got a busy podcast. It's kind of our second sort of holiday special, Christmas special, holiday special. But yeah, firstly, Naz, how are you doing? Are you enjoying the holidays? How are you getting
I,
on?
I am. I am indeed very grateful for a break from the what feels like 24/7 working, hustle, bustle. Getting some sleep, catch up
Yeah,
has been very welcome. And
good
yourself?
lad. Yeah, same really. Yeah, just like work and chilling and getting ready for Christmas and yeah, watching a lot of football at the moment. So yeah, we've got a lot to talk about, haven't we?
Hmm.
But yeah, we haven't done a pod record ourselves for I think 2 weeks, which is a long time for us. I thought I'd get your kind of update on your weekly or rather bi-weekly at this point update on Mo Salah.
Yeah.
Now, as obviously you beat Brighton 2-0. So look at the stats. So 18 shots on goal, only 4 on target. So I don't know if that's more of a reflection on like missing a peak Mo Salah. Sort of he had quite a few chances in the game at the end, which was nice. Obviously got the assist from the corner for your new striker. I always mispronounce his name. It's Ekitike, isn't it? He's got 2 goals. One in the first minute, one in the 60th. Yeah, let me know your thoughts on Mo Salah, if you
Well,
wouldn't mind.
I was really gutted we didn't have a pod last week because of this saga with Salah was essentially I don't I would I would say it's probably over. It's kind of
Yeah,
started,
fair enough.
really got to the boil, got really juicy, went to Inter Milan, then kind of fizzled out after that Brighton game because you could see how much love the fans for him still had for him.
Yeah.
Comes on, has a really big impact on the game, gets his assist, could have got a goal pretty quickly and easily, could have got more assists. Like it was a pretty good performance. Um, but yeah, he did show the signs of why also people are a bit mad at him because of this whole like lack of clinicalness that he had last season. So like things like that final ball, which were perfect last season, weren't there. Those finishes that you should be getting weren't there. But I think it's still a sign of things to come. I think things are probably looking a bit more up now compared to where they were. We were looking a few weeks ago at saying, maybe he'll never wear the Liverpool shirt again. So I'm more than happy that things seem to have worked out okay. And I think him and Slot have clearly just gone, right, let's have a conversation. We can't be doing all of this in the public. It doesn't look good. And they've sorted it out. So it looks all right now. And hopefully they'll come back from AFCON, winner of AFCON, and things will be all right.
So you don't think he's going to leave in January then?
I
Is that
don't
what you're
think so,
saying?
not anymore. It looked like it for like a period of like 4 days when it was really, really sort of dark. But right now, I think he wants to like carry on. I think he wants to see out.
Okay. And so I think that the main topic that I was kind of wanted to chat as well about was obviously Ekatike's come in. I think he's only 80 million or around that figure in the summer.
Yeah,
But
just it's nothing.
well, yeah, it's nothing in terms of football transfers these days, which is kind of crazy to say. But
Yeah.
Isak is, I think, Slot has kind of put him on a bit of a run where he was starting a lot of the games. I don't know if it was more because it was like the stature of the player and the transfer fee and all these kind of things. He doesn't really seem to be the guy, as it were, at the moment. Ekatike is the man. It feels like, and if I was a Liverpool manager, I think I'd put Isak on the bench. But yeah, I want to know what your thoughts were.
Honestly, yeah, I would agree with that too. The other day in that Brighton game, actually, there was a front three at one point um of Florian Wirtz, Ekitike, and Salah, and they looked fluid. Like they looked really, really good coming forward and like transitioning and moving
What
and
game was
well,
that
just
again? Sorry,
against Brighton.
Brighton. Yeah, sorry.
And
Yeah.
it was really, really nice. And yeah, with this, like I kind of I'm almost seeing this season as like a little bit of a pass. Like, I think just because the impact of having no preseason and meaning he's always catching up, you could see it. There was one point where it was really quite clear at the end of that game, which is quite funny. I was looking at people on Twitter describe it as the unction of Andy Robertson, Virgil van Dijk, and Mohamed Salah doing a counterattack together, and it's like why are the three older guys in the team the ones that are like bolting at 100 mile an hour to get forward in the 90th minute? Because that should be what Isak is doing. Isak should, like, that's what we've signed him for. You're supposed to be the one zooming forward, but he just doesn't have it in the season. I think he's terrified of getting like injuries constantly. So I think he just needs a bit of time to get a bit more confident, and I feel like next season is really where he'll be comfortable and hopefully back to his best.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose, yeah, all of the fitness stuff that at Newcastle, that kind of paused his season, didn't it, at the start of this season for Liverpool. So yeah, I think give him. It sounds going to sound crazy. But give him 6 months, and yeah, like you say, I think he'll be smashing it from the start of next season. And I think there'd be a sort of, well, I think it depends if Slot stays, but I think he could be your top scorer next season easily. I mean, that's probably not a sort of like, it's not unlikely because he's such a good player. But yeah, I think it depends if the manager's there as well. I think if Slot gets sacked, I think Anisak gets a manager that he, gets along with and enjoys the tactics of. Maybe even Eddie Howe, who knows?
Mhm.
Then yeah, I think next season he'll come good.
The dream situation would be what Slot has tried to employ at points, which is a front four, and the front four having a striker partnership of Isak and Ekatike. If we can get those two firing together and having some sort of partnership, that would genuinely be something lethal. But
Yeah,
I'll have to see if they can make it work.
well, I like it as well because it seems to be a redemption story for Joe Gomez as well. He's obviously playing, is it right back now? I think for Liverpool. You put Gravenberch back into, sorry, Soberspy, sorry, back into his sort of midfield position / on the right wing from the last game. That seems to be working a lot better. I
Yeah.
never quite fancied Soberslai when he was playing right back. Obviously, he's a fantastic, versatile player, but it's not. I think maybe Joe Gomez is the answer. Maybe he's the key to your season.
He
Ironically,
is, but he's just too injury prone. That's the
yeah,
downside. Like, I'm pretty sure he is injured again from that game. He had to go off early against Brighton. So yeah, that's the downside. It's just consistency, because it was the same like that game. Bradley was suspended. Frimpong has been injured for God knows how long. So it's just looking like a problem area. So realistically, replacing Trent has not gone well.
yeah. And Kirkes as well, obviously at left back, he really, really struggled. I feel like the stature of joining Liverpool from Bournemouth, even like transitionally going from Bournemouth's, tiny stadium, 10,000 people, I think it is, to like Liverpool, the cathedral of Anfield. There seems to be a lot of, it was big, it was big, it was a big job, wasn't it, for him to kind of go there and do well straight away. But yeah, do you think he'll sort of is finding his feet, or is it going to take a bit more
He
time?
is.
Play like him?
It's a case of knowing like you're replacing a legend. You're coming in to take the place of somebody who's been one of the best in their position in the world
Yeah,
for the best part of like, a good sort of 6 years. And I think that kind of pressure is a lot. What he really needs to do is just learn from Andy Robertson rather than worry about becoming as good as him straight away or filling in
yeah,
that position perfectly, because there's no one really better you could ask to be learning from in that position.
sure.
So yeah, he just needs to get out of his head a little bit, and I'm sure he'll be fine. But I think he really struggles with that.
Fair enough. Okay, well, let's move on now to Nottingham Forest beating Spurs 3-0, which is a crazy result. I didn't really see that happening. I kind of thought that Thomas Frank would do a job and get the result away at Forest, but wasn't the case. I think the player we have to talk about is Vicario. I think it's described here as suffering a nightmare. I think it was a nightmare, wasn't it, for him in that game? But yeah, what were your thoughts on that game and his performance?
Well, this is the thing. Like, I actually feel really bad for Tottenham Hotspur. Like they always seem to be so close to being really solid, and then there's always just something that sticks out that isn't quite right. And with Vicario as well, he's an excellent goalkeeper. Like he
Yeah.
is a really, really good shot stopper, but this idea of trying to play out from the back does not work for him at all. And he's trying to he's trying to be a bit of a playmaker, keep it solid around the back. He can't do it. And it's Thomas Frank's way of working, and I think it will eventually mean that if if he wants to continue, his way of playing, then I don't think it's going to work at having Vicario in goal, which is a shame because he is an excellent keeper, but he's not going to work playing
Yeah.
out from the back. So,
I
um,
felt quite sorry for Archie Gray as well, because obviously he was the player that Vicario passed to for the first goal, first mistake that obviously Sangare pounced on, and I really enjoyed like Vicario's kind of like looking at Archie Gray like what are you doing, as if it was like Archie Gray's fault. It was very, very funny, wasn't
yeah, it's the keeper often like will
it?
find a way to blame it on the player when they're like, oh yeah, what are you doing? Not looking around. Come on, man. Like, come on, just pass it to me normally, please.
Yeah, yeah. And it was nice to see, obviously, Hudson-Odoi. He's one of those players where, like, I think he scored against, I think we spoke about this in the first pod we did together, or maybe it was a pod with Joe Nottingham game, but Nottingham Liverpool game. But Hudson-Odoi is one of those players that he scored twice. Obviously, one was a tap in. The second goal, I want to ask you, do you think that was deliberate? Because it felt like a cross to me, but he looked quite proud of himself. So what do you think?
Well, he'll
Was it
certainly
deliberate?
claim it, won't he? It did look like a cross as well. I I reckon it was. But when you get the goal, you're gonna claim it every time. Absolutely. I do not blame him for that at all.
Yeah, yeah. And in terms of Spurs season, obviously, um, they're having a bit of an indifferent time, aren't they? So I think their next game is against Crystal Palace on the sorry, they're playing Liverpool. Sorry, next, my bad. Playing Liverpool, big game, 5:30
That's
game on
right.
Saturday. Yeah, what are your thoughts on that game? Obviously, I'm going to be a bit biased from a Liverpool point of view, but in terms of Spurs, I mean, they always struggle against it. Was this the game last season where they lost by? Let me check in a second,
We
but
had a, we
they
had
lost
a, we
by
had a we had a 6-3 last season.
6-3. Was it
That
last
was
season?
that was yeah, that was last season.
Wow.
That
Okay.
was a pretty good game, and then we also beat them 4-1 to confirm the title at Anfield as well. I think it was. Oh no, that might have been the 6-3 game. I'm not sure, but anyway, yeah, we did. Yeah, we have some good games with them, and it happens like regularly with Spurs. It's normally just a really good ball game because I think
Yeah.
both teams are open to sort of be quite attacking and fluid. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It'll be very good, and hopefully a lot of goals.
I'm going to go. I think if Big Ange was still in charge, it would be like 7-5 to Liverpool or something. But I'll probably go for like a 2-0 Liverpool win. Standard job done. Because obviously Salah's leaving, isn't he, for the AFCON? So I mean, ironically, you might do better having that break from him, won't you? So I can see maybe Ekitike scoring a few goals against Spurs in
Yeah.
that game. And then in terms of Nottingham Forest, obviously Joe, he'll be delighted. Obviously, his boy Elliot Anderson on the player ratings, he got 7.8 out of 10. So yeah, he'll
What a
be
man! What a
delighted.
man!
Um, but he'll be upset because Hudson-Odoi got man of the match in this game. So yeah, Joe will be upset. But yeah, they go up against Fulham. They're having a good time under Sean Dyche, aren't they? I mean, they found a bit of form. I feel like they're going to solidify their home form. That's often what Sean Dyche does. They're very difficult to play at home for whichever team he's managing, and then they host Man City on the 27th of December as well. So they've got Fulham next on the 22nd, and then yeah, away. Sorry, they're hosting Man City after that. So yeah, some big fixtures for Nottingham Forest. But yeah, do you think they're going to stay up now? Is that going to be that for them? They're just going
I,
to
I I think they'll be fine now that
push
Sean
up.
Dyche is in and he's really sort of established himself. Like, I think it's a dressing room where the players respect who he is and know what he's capable of. Um, and I was just listening to his interviews yesterday. What a voice in football he
Oh yeah,
is. Like, he's brilliant to just have as a character. Like, it's great to just hear from him. Not only because he's very entertaining as just as a person, but he is also tactically, like, everyone knows who he is as a manager.
mm.
Like, he's got a very solid identity to him. Um, and yeah, I think he's a good fit at Forest right now. I think he's exactly what they needed, so they'll be fine.
Yeah, no, I'd agree with you. Yeah, they'll probably get the standard 40 points, and then you never know, push up the league, probably finish about 10th, and
Yeah.
they'll be happy, and then they'll reconvene for next season.
Yeah.
But a team that's doing remarkably well is Sunderland. We're going to talk about the Wear-Tyne Derby, not the Tyne Derby, because people get upset about this because you got to say which team's hosting
yeah,
it.
yeah.
So obviously it was an own goal from Walter Maida. It was quite a cagey game, I thought. There wasn't that many chances, and actually, from the commentary, the first shot on target that Sunderland had wasn't until like late in the game. So one of those very cagey derbies, but they'll be delighted, won't they, with that result, Sunderland?
Very cagey, very intense. But I feel like that's exactly what that game in particular really like. It deserves like crunching tackles and sort of really solid work. I did want to ask you about this actually because I was looking at this Voltemada goal. There's theories that he has forgotten that he's defending his penalty area
Do
and
you
he's just
think?
bulleted it into his own goal because the striker's instinct has kicked in because the cross has been whipped in so perfectly. It really does momentarily look like he's gone for the goal.
Well, I think it's one of those ones where the ball's coming in at quite pace, isn't it? And he's just instinctively gone, I can't let I can't let the attacker behind me get this ball. So I'm going to try and head it out. And then maybe, yeah, for that split second in between, like you say, maybe he's like, oh, actually, it's a goal. I can head it. This is
It's the
my
turn of the
instinct.
head. It looks like the direction of his head is almost towards goal. So he looks like he's, really gone for it rather than, oh, this is a clearance, this is getting in the way of it.
What
Um,
other conspiracy theories are you into, Naz, that you'd like to talk about on the pod?
oh, I've got so many. Right, let's no more Friday fixture. Yeah, no, it was
Just
a
like
good, but like
the shard reference we had the other week. Isn't it?
something will happen in this year and we're just gonna get totally in trouble. We're like, oh my God, how did you know about this? Yeah, no, so yeah, but Baltimore, I do think like if he's getting paid hundreds of thousands of pounds a week, I would imagine concentration is probably part of that. So let's say it was an accident. Sure.
Okay. But yeah, they're obviously having a great season, Sunderland. They're going to lose quite a lot of players to AFCON, which we'll talk about in a moment. But yeah, I think they've had a great season. I was just having a look at the league table. They are seventh in the league on 26 points. I think if they get to that fabled 40-point mark, which I think is kind of the sort of parameter you have to reach to sort of generally survive. Although it has been lower in recent seasons, so I'm not sure if you have to reach 40, but they're on 26. So I'm going to say it now. They're going to stay up. They're 13 points off from 18th place, which is West Ham, which is kind of crazy. Sorry, mate. So yeah, I think they've got every chance of staying in the division. It might be one of those ones where like that. I don't know how you feel, but the line or where the measure will be is when they lose those players for AFCON. That's a big window of games that happens around the holiday period, doesn't it? So yeah, what do you think on that? Do you think they're going to stay up, or
It's
is that
really
going to
it's
be
really
quite a good
tough, isn't
judge
it?
of?
Yeah. It's something that they will absolutely struggle with. And I think it will be akin to those seasons, like kind of like Nottingham Forest had like last season, where they'll have a really solid like start and then things eventually sort of peter out later on into the season, and that AFCON impact will be massive on them. But
Yeah.
I do think that they're set up in a way where they're really consistent and they're really solid. So I don't think it'll be a case of like they'll lose games. I think they'll just struggle for goals.
Mm.
And that will definitely be something that they'll have to work on for that sort of, what's it, 6 week period.
Yeah.
But they'll be fine. Yeah, I think they will stay up, and it's really refreshing actually to see a team come up and be really, really good.
Well,
Um,
you say come up as well. What I really enjoy as well about that is that they had Dan Ballard in that team. I think he was in the League One team as well, which is actually crazy. Um, so to have players like that have come through the divisions, it's a bit like Ipswich last season. You had a lot of players that came from League One up to the Premier League and did really well. And I think it probably just shows like the quality of the English leagues just in general, like from league, even National League, mighty York City down in National League, up to the Premier League. You've got all these teams that have really high quality players. Maybe didn't quite make it in the Premier League, may have been an academy player or whatever it might be. Their stories changed and they didn't quite make the cut, and they've kind of had to work their way up. And I think a player like that just is a testament to kind of just keep going, because you never know.
mhm.
And he nearly scored at the end. He nearly got a penalty for his team. So yeah, a great
It
story,
really
isn't it?
is like quite a strong amount of luck required, right? It's just the right person seeing you at the right time because there's all of these like in the lower leagues. It's not that they're incapable. It's why we get upsets, right? In like the cup and stuff because there's so many of these players that are more than capable of taking it right to the top. You hear a lot about it, like when people talk about, oh, who did you play with when you were younger at like, Sunday League level or whatever, and it was like, yeah, I played with this guy who now plays in like League Two but he was head and shoulders above the rest, and they're insane. And then it makes you really think about how good these players are, the ones that make it right to the very top, which then is also crazy because of how frustrating they are to watch every week when they play for your own team and it suddenly looks like
Yeah.
they can't pass the ball. So yeah.
I mean, I got one example. I played a few football games, junior level, for my school team, and we had Charlie Taylor who played for Burnley in the team for a little bit,
Hmm.
and he was leaps and bounds above everyone. The standard that he had, and you could argue, I don't want to speak badly of Burnley, but obviously that was kind of I can't imagine him playing for a Chelsea, but his ability was so good that like it just shows that like if you play for like one of the top four, top six teams, the level is even higher, and it's incredible, isn't it? Really, when you think about the standard of football these days in the English leagues and
Hmm.
also the Premier League, some of these players are absolute ballers, aren't they?
We had a similar case in my school. Like you knew he was quite a baller, but you didn't really get to like you only really got to see him play when it was like school games or whatever.
Yeah.
Carney Chukwuemeka.
Oh wow,
Yeah, I used
wow.
to just see him cutting around school, and I never realized like his pathway, what he was on. And then you just see him on telly when you're like, hang on a minute. I've seen this guy at the water fountain filling his water bottle. Like, what's he doing there? And I was obviously doing really well for himself. So yeah, it is like really insane to see these guys just like go from level to level.
Is he now playing for Dortmund? Is that
I
right?
think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Wow.
he's permanently over there now.
It's not a bad career trajectory, is it? Like
Absolutely.
playing for Dortmund.
Pretty regular Champions League, like it's not so bad.
Not a bad life. But yeah, we must touch on, obviously, I think it's a good link, obviously, from Sunderland because they've got so many players playing in AFCON. Sort of do a little bit of a rundown of AFCON and sort of get your predictions. Who do you think will maybe win AFCON, and
Hmm.
also talk about Cameroon because obviously there's a bit of juice going on with their manager or lack of manager. But yeah, I don't know, Naz. Like, who do you think? Just firstly, who do you think might
Well,
win AFCON?
I want for the sake of Salah, it might well be one of his last AFCONs, if not the last one. So I would really like to see him do well because I think there's a lot of pressure that's carried on his
Yeah,
back for the Egypt national team as well. A lot of people see it as a failure for him to not be winning it, because I think the expectation is just for him to carry them all the way to the top. And Egypt do have like a record of doing well in it, and it's almost like because he hasn't been so successful in it, it's on him that he just have not done well. So yeah, for his sake, I'd love to see him do really well. I also just do have a soft spot for Senegal as well, for the period of Sadio Mane,
yeah.
just being an icon. There was that one final in 2022, which was the Salah versus Mane final. That was an epic game. And it was like a lot of people were worried after that when they came back, like, oh, one of them's
Yeah.
going to be depressed, one of them's going to be really happy. And
I was going. Yeah.
it was a really good season. That was our 2022 season where we won the FA Cup and League Cup, and we were 2 games away from winning the Premier League and Champions League. Would have
I
been
remember
the
that.
most incredible season, but yeah, just missed out. And yeah, AFCON, I'm really looking forward to it. It is such a spectacle because the games as well, it's so like there's no inhibitions. Everyone
No.
wants to just, it's a lot of like, it celebrates football at a much more
Oh yeah.
individualist like level. Like if the players want to be skillful, if the players want to shoot from 40 yards, they do it. They don't care. Like the tactics, sure, they'll focus on it, but they also just want to have fun. And that's a lot more what football should be rather than this sort of really processed version that we get in the
Yeah.
Premier League now.
I think for me, I think probably Morocco will do it because they were obviously semi-finalists in 2022 at the World Cup, which was amazing. They obviously got a lot of players in that may not have been born in Morocco, but we spoke about Wales last time. Obviously, they found out a lot of players' sort of heritage and passport status, and managed to get players like I think Hakimi wasn't born in Morocco, for example. I think he was born in Spain. So he could have qualified to play for Spain, but I think his mum was really pushing for him to play for Morocco, which is a really nice story.
Hmm.
So I think he's fit. Just want to double check. I think he is fit now, but yeah, players like him, Hakimi. I think if he's fit and other players in their team that they've got a really solid squad, so I think they probably will just nudge it. Also, shout out. I always think that Ivory Coast have a good chance in AFCON. The last tournament, I think they sacked their manager mid-tournament, which is hilarious, and then they went on to win it. So I think they've got a lot of resilience. Senegal, obviously, they've still got Sadio Mane, plays for Al Nassr, and obviously Nicholas Jackson, the Chelsea legend that is Nicholas Jackson.
Of course, Nicholas Jackson.
But yeah, another one to mention that I hadn't realised because I thought he played for England. But did you know that Aaron Wan-Bissaka is playing for DR Congo?
Ah, I actually did not
you know
realize
this?
that. So he must have
No.
changed his nationality not long ago to go play for them. Because I could have sworn I've seen him play for England.
Well, I was looking through
Am
the squad list, and I was like, hang on, that's
Am I
Aaron
dreaming?
Wan-Bissaka. So yeah, players like that, obviously, you can switch allegiance. Maybe they've made the rules slightly more lenient.
That's very interesting.
I think if you have players like if Riyad Mahrez is on form, he plays for Al Ahly now in the Saudi league. Algeria, one of those teams that have, they're quite canny. They've got quite a strong defense. I reckon they could do well in AFCON. Any other dark horses you want to mention?
Algeria were the other one that I was thinking about as
Yeah.
well. They do just come out and perform decently well every single time. I'm still baffled about this Wan-Bissaka thing, So he's
Well, we
only
can edit
started
this out
playing
of the
for them.
pod, but I thought that was correct.
No, it is. It's true. I'm looking at it. He's only started playing for them this year though, which makes me think he went for his international career. Yeah, he played for the England like under 21s and all of that. And then eventually he's just moved up and decided to play. Oh, there we go. Okay, in May 2019, his intention to pursue an international career with England. He said he wanted to. The aim is England. I'm happy playing with England and representing England. That's what I want to do. But then he later expressed in representing DR Congo at senior level. And then he changed in 2025. So there you go.
I like that. It's a really nice story. So hopefully he can help them progress past the group matches.
Yeah. I mean, there's also we've got to think about Nigeria. Nigeria is the team that's got a lot of these. Yeah, the thing is they always have these superb players that are normally doing really well in the Premier League, and they just don't make it click on the national stage. And I don't know what it is they get wrong. I think it's another one of those where the pressure and the expectation is so high. I do think it gets to them. But they've got a really solid team as well. So
they've obviously got Victor Osimhen. Sorry, I was going to say Victor Osimhen obviously was touted to come to the Premier League for many, many seasons. Obviously playing for Galatasaray now. I think he's having quite a good season there. I saw he scored against. Did he score a penalty against Liverpool a few weeks ago? I think in the Champions League. So yeah, he's having a really good season. It sounds like there's been a lot of drama off the pitch. There's a dispute bonus, I think, with the Nigerian Football Federation. So if they can sort out their off-field issues, then you never know.
That does just sound like the most typical thing to happen in the Nigeria football team. It's great.
The best thing is, well, I shouldn't laugh, but there's a few of the players that play in the Premier League. Few play for Fulham, who play for the Arsenal kid. I'm forgetting his name now.
Well, there's Iwobi.
Iwobi, that's it.
Yeah.
If you follow Iwobi's social media, it's very funny. I'd recommend it. It's really funny.
It is really funny. Yeah.
Did a really funny video of him narrating
Alvin Bassi's run.
Alvin Bassi's run at the weekend, which was very, very funny. I really enjoyed that. I think I sent you on Instagram as well. But he often will put videos posted from when he's been playing with his national team, and some of the videos of like the hotel rooms that he's put up are really funny. Like, because obviously he's like this Premier League superstar, like probably on like, I don't know, £100,000 a week, and then he's like in this very dingy looking hotel room like in Nigeria on a training camp, and it really makes me laugh when you see those.
Yeah, they ain't messing around, honestly, and it's really funny to see. Like, it's not even a fall from grace; it's just more like a humbling. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's great.
Yeah. So yeah, I think they'll probably get to the quarterfinals, but yeah, maybe if they can sort out their off-field issues. But yeah, speaking of great segue there, right? Off-field issues.
It's a great segue when you announce it. It's a great segue.
I'll cut that bit out. We've got the issues around Cameroon. On the pitch, I think they probably stand a good chance of getting to maybe the quarters, maybe the semi-finals. But on the pitch, or rather off it with the manager, there's a lot of problems now. So yeah, do you want to sort of explain in case anyone's missed it, what's happened?
So the manager, he's been sacked. His name,
has he?
What's his name? I've forgotten his name.
His name is, let me find it now. Sorry, I should know this. Mark Bryce.
Mark Bryce was believes he is the manager, and he's been told, listen mate, it's not working, off you pop. And he's gone, nah, listen, I'm still the manager, and I'm going to name a team, and this is the team I'm taking to the Africa Cup of Nations. And Samuel Eto'o, who's the president of the Cameroonian FA, has stepped in and gone, listen mate, we've got a new manager, what are you doing? Yeah, you don't, you're not representative of us in any way. And he's gone, yeah, I am. And so yeah, they've got a new manager who's the officially recognized, like the federation have recognized him as the manager. And the Cameroon kind of just have two managers at the moment, because one believes he is and one is the actual official recognized one. So we kind of got a little bit of delusion going on, really. I'm not really sure what the solution to this is going to be, but as I was saying to you before the pod, it does just sound like old man who does not want to accept no.
No means no. Yeah, I think it's interesting because it sounds like the Ministry of Sport, I presume, hired him and pays his wage, have yet to receive an official termination notice. So I guess it's not over till it's over, is it? But so David Pagu has been expected to be named as his official successor. Unofficial successor is still Bryce. Or unofficial manager is still Bryce. But yeah, it's a strange one, isn't it? I really don't understand how they're going to resolve this, because obviously AFCON is starting very, very soon. So you kind of want to get this resolved.
Do you know what will happen as well?
Surely.
The funniest part will be that Cameroon will go and do really well at AFCON as well, despite all of this. Like, it's just the most AFCON thing to happen, is they'll have all of this going on until days before the tournament, and then suddenly they'll be outstanding.
You know, I thought you were going to say was, the funny thing was, I thought you were going to say was like the both managers would like walk out with the players. Like,
there was game. There was something I saw recently in the Norwegian league. There's a team, the name of which I've forgotten, but they won the league for the first time in like ages or whatever. But they're co-managed. Like they had two equal standing managers, and I suppose there's an argument there for could teams start using two managers? I think it would reduce a lot of the pressure, and honestly, it might not be such a bad idea.
No, yeah, I suppose so. But for our international manager, there's not that many games though now. So
that's true.
It does feel a little bit sort of like, how many games would you actually get to manage? Like, 2 or 3, and it's kind of in a year. Not sure it would be great for terms of team morale and like trying to build up that kind of base that you need.
But if you think about it on the other side of things, you could do a lot more in terms of the way you see Thomas Tuchel up in the stands at one game in the weekend. You could cover more games, go and see more players.
Yeah, true.
I don't know. It's possible. Possible. I know. Yeah. So this is the thing that I was looking at is Viking FK, the Norwegian league team. But yeah, they manage jointly, and they won the league for the first time in 34 years doing that. So
okay,
I'd love to see it. I'd love to see it elsewhere as well. I don't really know what FIFA's rulings about it are, if you're allowed to have two managers. But yeah, it'd be good to see.
The other one that I just thought I'd quickly mention was obviously Ghana didn't qualify for AFCON, which is crazy, but they did qualify for the World Cup. So I don't know if they're just putting, all of their eggs in the basket of qualifying for the World Cup, but this does seem a bit strange, right? I mean, surely you'd want to try and win AFCON as well as qualifying, right? But I'm not sure. I didn't follow their qualifying campaign for AFCON too closely. But yeah, a bit of a strange one.
Yeah, it's true. They also historically when I think about Ghana, I think about the South Africa World Cup, and Asamoah Gyan.
Yes. Went to
Like
Sunderland, didn't he, after that, I think?
yeah.
Yeah.
But you know, and they're historically like such a powerful team and like a great like representation of Africa as well. Um, yeah, it's a shame that they're not like in the same at the same level of like success right now. Um, but I get it, like the World Cup because it's the like the special World Cup, shall we say,
Yeah.
the centenary, or like close to the
Yeah.
centenary, something like that, and it's the bigger one. Um, I can see why it would be like the FOMO of missing out on that one is I can see
Yeah.
why that would be a big deal. But at the end of the day, like your priority, I suppose, if you're an African nation, is AFCON.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit odd to be putting it second like that, but I
Well,
get it.
also, one other team just to also mention is obviously South Africa qualified for the World Cup and are also in AFCON. I think they'll do really. I think they'll. I'd like to mention them because I think they've got a really solid team. They've got Lyle Foster, one of their key players. They've got a solid sort of chemistry. I think they could be a bit of a surprise package for AFCON and maybe even for the World Cup because the climate is obviously going to be a big factor for that as well too. And obviously they play in hot conditions most of the time for their games. So yeah, I think they've got a bit of a Bafana. I think are my dark horses for maybe winning AFCON. What do you
Hmm.
think?
Yeah, I hear it. I hear it.
Okay, so Naz, let's just move on. So we talked enough about AFCON. Obviously, we've got our predictions for that, but I just wanted to also talk about Celtic. Obviously,
Yeah.
they didn't sack, but they kind of asked politely for Martin O'Neill to leave his post. He did an interview where he basically said that he'd have happily stayed on, which I don't think has really made the Celtic fans any happier than they already were with the board. But they've lost three in a row. They lost away in Roma, they lost away at Hearts, and they lost in the League Cup final against St Mirren. Not been a good time for them, has it?
No, and it was
No.
I saw something that was like it's the first time ever that a new manager at Celtic, has lost 3 games in a row. It was the first time that he lost 2 games in a row, and then he extended his record. Um, yeah, I do feel bad for them because it seemed like when Martin O'Neill came in, they'd kind of sort of fixed things. They packed things up. They suddenly started moving up the table. You could see Hearts were slipping a bit. It's
Yeah.
really like the Scottish Premiership looks really, really good this season. Like it's nice to see someone other than the big two actually like pushing up there. So yeah, you do feel bad for them because they were beginning to sort things out and then suddenly it's all kind of hit the fan again. And I don't know, they will regret, I would say, not having Martin O'Neill. But I do feel bad because for Martin O'Neill as well, because he kind of like he's an old man,
Yeah.
let him enjoy his retirement. Like don't I'm sure he's like, he wants to do it because he loves them and he loves football and all of that. But
Yeah.
also like, let the man rest. He's had a lot of time
Well,
in football.
you say that, but he seems to be loving his football and he seems to be really enjoying being the manager again of Celtic. So I don't know. I think there's kind of an argument to say that he should have really been given the job full time, at least till the end of the season. Obviously, this
That I would understand. Yeah, I would say giving him until the end of the season would have worked out well for them. They would have. I don't think they would have lost against St Mirren either. Like they would have been fine. Um, but yeah, that was an excellent game as well, and really like shout out to St Mirren. That's an incredible achievement for them. Um,
well, I think their manager's Stephen Robson. He's been there for a few years now. He's also doing a really good job, and I really enjoyed. It's just good to see, like like how VAR is kind of ruining football. I'm gonna do all the stuff now, complaining about Manchester Clyde kind of vibes, but like I feel like you need those moments where he had just pure joy in his face after the game. Like it's beautiful to see. Like he's worked really hard for that club. You could
yeah.
argue could he have gone on to better things, but I mean he's stayed there and he's won the League Cup for St Mirren, and
Mhm.
those fans will absolutely love that. They'll be delighted. So
It's
yeah,
genuinely one of those,
kudos to
right? They'll
him.
never forget it. And I remember there was an interview he gave, and he said that his message to the team was not so much about the result. It was, I just want you to go out there and when you come back in, say that you've given everything, you've left everything out there, you've given 100%, and the result will take care of itself. And clearly that mantra worked for them, you know.
Yeah.
So it's quite nice. Gotta love an underdog story.
You do, yeah. And I liked what he said after. He said, "I'm delighted for everyone involved, staff, players. We've got a fantastic group of boys." So yeah, he's obviously just. Oh yeah, so he also said there's a huge disparity here for us to get a trophy. A small club like St Mirren to do it in the manner we did. I'm so pleased for the boys. So yeah, delighted for St Mirren. It's an amazing story. I'm also pleased that like a lot of the media weren't just arcing to the Celtic angle, which is quite easy to do, isn't it, these days in news and all the rest of it. So
Yeah,
yeah, they got their moment to in the spotlight, as it were, and hopefully
exactly.
they can do good things in the league as well. I also really want a team that isn't Celtic or Rangers, like you were saying. To I think Hearts doing quite well, aren't they, in the
Yeah,
division?
it's hard still.
It'd be good to see a non Glaswegian team. Sorry, one of the old Derby, the old firm team. Sorry, winning the division. It'd be really good for the league, I think, like you say.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're coming up to the end of the year, and obviously that is normally the time when we have the BBC Sports Personality of the Year awards that comes out. Obviously, this year Hannah Hampton has been nominated as one of those people up for the award. Naz, she's had quite a sort of turbulent year, hasn't she? Obviously, her breakdown in relations with the other goalkeepers from the England squads over the years, and kind of been painted in a bad light, which I think is a bit unfair because she seems like I've not met her, but every time she's interviewed and from what you hear from the Chelsea women's team, she's a
Yeah.
great person to have in their team and obviously a fantastic goalkeeper. Yeah, but I just thought we'd give a bit of a shout out to her. And yeah, what do you think on thoughts
Well,
on
she
sports
she must
personality?
have a great personality if she's been nominated for sports personality. And I think like
Very well said.
when there's egos clashing at the top, I think it's just because of that, right? It's because you're all like really at the top of your game. You all want to be the best. So naturally, you're not going to get along with everyone, and that's just going to happen. You have to set those differences aside if you want to go and be successful as a team. You hear countless examples of it, of players that really just didn't get along, but they respected and appreciated the other's ability.
Mm.
So this situation with Mary Earps and Hannah Hampton, like, yeah, it's not really that much of a surprise, especially because you're both sort of competing to be the number one, and they had this like whole issue with the women's Euros as well, right? And Mary Epps is kind of like, listen, if I'm not number one, I don't even want to be there. Yeah, like Hannah Hampton, she's a great goalkeeper and very able, very capable. I do think about when there was that sneaky sort of tactic she had at the Euros with the water bottle at the penalties.
Yeah. I mean,
And
Pickford style, wasn't it? Like
yeah, she's got to
similar.
do what you got to do to win, and it works for her. So yeah, I mean, clearly, yeah, as I was saying, everybody must be a fan of her if she's getting nominated for sports personality.
Also, it'd be quite sweet for her, wouldn't it? Imagine if she wins and then she like gets out Marriott's book and just drops it on the floor or something, just like
Iconic, wouldn't it?
or signs it or something. I don't know. It just be really, it just
Just say,
goes
I'd like to say
full.
thank you to Mum, Dad, and
Yeah,
Mary Earps.
yeah, for inspiring me. Because I really don't think I don't know if you've seen the interview that Marriott said. I think she did one with Talksport. It I know she's trying to sell a book. I get that obviously she's written it with a ghostwriter, I think. And you have to build a headline, don't you, to sell books? It's sort of part of it, especially with autobiographies. You need kind of those narratives to come across to. Oh, I'll read that. That sounds juicy, but I think she took it too far, and
It's the wrong way to go about it, yeah.
I think it didn't come across. It wasn't particularly humble, was it? I think you have to stay humble, especially in sport, because people are very, these days as well, very good at picking up body language and like vibes and all the rest of it. I think she's kind of damaged her reputation because a few years ago, do you remember like after I know we obviously lost the final in New Zealand, the Women's World Cup final, but she was a hero when she came back, Mary Earps.
Yeah.
And I just kind of feel like, it's kind of,
She was always kind of one of the like
yeah,
the people's person as well. So, she was always seen as that like kind character.
yeah,
So it did seem a bit like well out of character for her to come out with something that was a little bit more scathing, right? A little bit more sort of dramatic and juicy, as you say. So yeah, a little bit surprising, but as you say, it's also I suppose to do with making sales.
yeah.
But also I don't know, like it wasn't really necessary, I don't think. I think it could have be done in a more tasteful way.
I'd say as well, like, because there was some nice. Well, it was a sad story to start with, but it became a bit more of a feel good story because obviously, at that World Cup a few years ago, I don't know if you remember, but Nike weren't supplying. You couldn't buy her kit, so a lot of kids were complaining because they were following her and they're big fans of hers, but they couldn't buy the
Yeah, yeah,
women's
yeah.
England
And then there
goalkeeper
was a
kit.
whole campaign about it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there was a whole campaign, and I just think it's just kind of tarnished her her legacy a little bit. It's a little bit of an asterisk, which is a shame. But yeah, it's a bit of a blip. But yeah, she's still a legend for England, and so is Hannah Hampton. So best of luck to her. I hope she wins it because I'm obviously a Chelsea fan, and I think she's been amazing. But there's lots of great nominations. But yeah, she's definitely up there.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
yeah, we've got a couple quick bits to mention. So Naz, before you do it on this day, just give me some of your highlights of the year from a footballing point of view. Got anything from Liverpool, just in general, that you'd like to mention
Well,
that's
of
happened this
course,
year?
there was winning the Premier League title. That was
Shock.
pretty special.
Not Trent going
Yeah.
to Real Madrid. Was that not your highlight of the year? No.
Wait, who's that again? No, not sure about that one. Yeah, no, that was really, really special. And I remember
Yeah.
just like going to the parade because we didn't get to celebrate winning the Premier League. The
Yeah.
first time around because of COVID, didn't get to have a parade because of that. So to be able to do it this time was really, really special. And now I know the feeling of flare smoke getting in your eyes.
I've heard that's
So
horrible.
absolutely horrible. It was itchy all day. I was like stinging, and yeah, you could understand why the players all had shades on the bus, even though it was pouring down with rain. You're kind of like, oh, that's weird. It's not really sunny, but I suppose they just want to look cool. No, they're protecting their eyes.
It wasn't
Um,
like the Euros. We're not talking about flares anywhere else, are we, Naz? It was all just in eyes and.
Thankfully, yeah,
Yeah.
it didn't get to that point. Listen, I don't know. I wasn't around those parts, so maybe. Um, yeah, there's definitely that as a highlight. I mean, obviously you got to give it there's the ups and downs. We did lose Diogo Jota as well. It was really nice actually to see
Yeah, of
Henderson's
course.
celebration the other day, which was yeah, testament towards their relationship, I suppose, as well. But it's really
Yeah.
nice to see that sort of Jota's legacy like continues to live on, and I think it always will.
Yeah, well, it's the
But yeah,
human side, isn't it? You have to remember these players are fallible, they're human, they have emotions like everyone else. That okay, they're on huge wages, but yeah, they've just missed their mate, don't they? It's heartbreaking, isn't it? But I guess to your point, it just shows the legacy that Jota has as a human being as well as a footballer. No one had a bad word to say about him, did they?
yeah.
He's just a lovely guy and an amazing footballer. I think we should remember that as well. Like what a player he was. Often scored against Chelsea as well. So, but I do miss watching him. I think Liverpool miss him as well on the pitch as well. So yeah,
Absolutely. Yeah. That was a real humanizing moment for the year. But those I'd say some pretty big moments. What about you?
nice. For me, I'd say, well, do you know what I quite enjoyed because I've sort of not hating on him, but kind of disliked him at the start of the year was I kind of like the arc that Robert Sanchez has had. So he's had a few games. I'm like, oh no, we're playing Robert Sanchez. Why are we playing Robert Sanchez? There's a game against Everton a few years ago. I went to the away game with my mate Jake, and he was in goal, and I was like, oh, we ended up losing that game, and the narratives were starting to flow then, where it's a bit like, oh, I'm not really sure why did we sign this guy? Like he's clearly not good enough. But to his credit, this year, for the most part, obviously he's made a few mistakes. But the game that really stood out for me, where I thought, you know what, fair play to you, was the Club World Cup final, which was obviously a prestigious tournament that I people were joking about on the last pod with me, which is fair enough. But I just think it shows like if you just keep working hard and you don't listen to the haters. Obviously, I wasn't trolling online or anything. Don't worry. But just like people kind of having disdain for you and pushing through that. He's testament to that, and I think give him some credit because he doesn't get enough of it, basically. So yeah, I'd say my moment was probably just watching him having a fantastic tournament. Obviously, Cole Palmer's the obvious candidate for those kind of games and moments, but yeah, just nice to see a player like him having a great year. I think for the most part. Obviously, Cole Palmer, another player, yeah, winning the Club World Cup was amazing. Um, yeah, I think yeah, probably to add to what you're saying about Jota, I think uh, that was probably like the more somber moments of the year and footballing wise. I also wanted to mention I thought it was really powerful that there was a game that happened in Spain internationally between Palestine. That was really special to see. Lots of fans coming out and supporting what's going on over there. So yeah, I think that's just the power of sport, right? Just about peace and unity, and just like, yeah, I think that shows what football can do, right?
Absolutely,
So
and the way that sport and politics are always intertwined, even if people
yeah,
don't want to believe it, it always is.
yeah, exactly. But yeah, do you want to go on this day, Naz?
Let's do some on this day. Have you ever wondered why, when Italians like to call their cities, right? They'll call their Italian cities by their Italian names, right? So, you've got, I mean, my Italian is not fantastic, but the one I'm referring to
We need
is,
Ludo on the pod, don't we? We need to
we do,
call her
we
up
really
now.
do, we really do. But you've got, you've got Milano, right, as a city. So why would Milano not want to call its football teams Milano? You've got AC Milan and Inter Milan, right? So today's on this day is referring to this. So on the 16th
Okay.
of December, 1899, a group of English expats led by Herbert Kilpin and Alfred Edwards, they formed the Milan Cricket and Football Club. And that's a team that, because was set up due to its English founders, the tribute was given to it and eventually became AC Milan. And yeah, it was just pretty fascinating to find out that that's why they've kept the name. That
Is that why they have the England, like, sort of the
that
flag
would
of St.
also,
George
yeah, that
on?
would also
Is
make
that
sense actually. I've
right?
never.
Okay. I
Should we
always
find
wondered that,
out?
whether there was some. Yeah, we should find that out.
Let's have a look. Let's do some fact checking right now. English flag on the isn't the English flag, but oh, it's the ancient symbol of the city of Milan. The cross of Saint
Okay.
Ambrose linked to its patron saint, predating England's adoption of the Saint George's cross. But the English founder did tie it into his shared medieval heritage. So a little bit. It's a little bit to do with it. But yeah.
Let's avoid the flag chat. But yeah, that's not. But that's a nice story. Oh, that's really cool. I've actually been to the San Siro. Ironically, now, as I went with the kind of the narrative at the time was that the San Siro wasn't going to be a thing anymore. So I went with my friend Jake again. We go quite often to some Chelsea away games, well, not as much these days, but we went to go watch Chelsea versus AC Milan, sorry, versus Chelsea at San Siro in 2023, because they were talking about knocking it down. And now they're not, which is funny, but I was still really privileged to see that stadium. And also, like, I'd recommend going, mainly for the atmosphere, the cauldron of sound that you can hear in that
That's
stadium
exactly
as
what I was going to
well.
ask you about. It's literally supposed to be quite a cauldron, right? And I feel like it's one of those stadiums where it almost like the stands are close to vertical, the way that it
Yeah.
goes up, And I love stadiums like that rather than like sort of the wider shaped ones where they kind of go, it's like the closer everyone is to the pitch, the more
Yeah.
intense that atmosphere is.
And also, it was just fun because there was a cauldron of sound, and then we scored quite early. So that, and it ended 2-0 to Chelsea. So yeah, the cauldron of sound did die down after that point, but the start was like, oh wow, this is a real, this it felt very powerful. And also, shout out to the toilets there, because they were ridiculously bad, like a hole on the floor bad. Like, it was interesting.
I thought you were saying shout out in a good way. I was expecting you to come out. Yeah, they were immaculate. They were really, really nice. No.
But it felt very old school. So you felt, it felt like a sort of old British stadium, which I think we're kind of losing now with all these beautiful, immaculate stadiums like Spurs Stadium, all the rest of it. So yeah, shout out to San Siro for a great time I had over there and watching Milan lose to Chelsea.
It's very much on the list. I'll have to make it work.
But yeah, I think we've kind of reached the end of the podcast, and I think this is probably going to be our last podcast of the year now. So yeah, shout out to you, Naz. Thanks for the podcast so far this year. We're going to be back in the new year. I also want to say thank you to all of the people behind the scenes. Seth, obviously Ed. Who else am I missing?
We've got Ben, Maeve. Too many to name, genuinely. So many brilliant
I was
people.
trying to name everyone, and I've very poorly forgotten people's names, which is
well,
not
there's
great.
a group. The group chat has probably about 30 people in it, so
yeah, this is true.
Take a while to get through.
But yeah, the production staff have been very patient with us, and we really appreciate it for the pods we've done so far. And we'll be back stronger, won't we, in the new year with lots more fun
hitches.
podcasts. No, exactly. But yeah, I think from both of us, we want to say thank you for listening, and we will see you in 2026. So yeah, happy holidays, happy Christmas if you celebrate Christmas, and yeah, happy New Year, Naz.
Same for myself and to you too, and to everyone listening. Thank you.